Just because you share blood doesn't mean you relate. Recently, I made a video called Keeping It Real is Keeping You Broke. And in that video, I explained how staying in the city that you grew up in and not expanding your horizons beyond that city can keep you stuck mentally, which can keep you physically stuck in terms of your life circumstances. And to an even greater extent, the people that you surround yourself with on a regular basis can definitely hold you back. But on the contrary, if you have more positive, encouraging people in your life, that can help uplift you and accelerate your growth process. Now, to illustrate this example, okay, I usually don't do this, but I want you guys to pause the video and I want you to grab a cup of water. A cup of water, a bottle of water, or anything that's pretty light, okay, that's lightweight, but heavy enough for you to feel it. Okay, I have my water bottle right here, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold this water bottle up for the entirety of the video. This water bottle is probably 1.5 to 2 pounds. Okay, it's not very heavy at all. So I want you to hold that water bottle or that water cup for the entirety of this video so that you guys can see precisely what I'm talking about. Now, a lot of people tell me every single day through my emails, through comments, etc. They tell me that they're surrounded by people who are constantly degrading them and their goals. Okay, and this is especially an issue prevalent in foreign countries, foreign to America that is. And one country in particular that it seems like there's always people telling me that the people around them are small-minded is Ireland. Why that is, I have no idea. I'm sure that there are exceptions to the rule. I've seen a lot of those exceptions myself in some of my supporters, but I want you guys to know that you are not the only people in your country who are thinking big. Okay, you're not the only people in your country who are thinking big, and I'm telling you that so that you can have the abundance mentality and be willing to walk away from the people who are not thinking big, the people who are holding you back in your dreams and your aspirations. Now, when you surround yourself with people who are not on the same wavelength as you, who aren't trying to elevate themselves, it's kind of like carrying a cup of water or a bottle of water. Okay, right now, it's probably pretty light. If you're in the gym consistently, it's pretty light. Okay, I've only been filming for maybe a few minutes now. Yeah, it's very light right now. But by the end of this video, you're gonna see that even a light weight, if held for a long enough time, can become very, very heavy. Okay, so by you holding on to these people who are maybe not the most conducive to your personal growth and vice versa, okay, the people who aren't willing to listen to your advice or willing to follow your example in terms of personal growth, you'll realize that those people, they can't be in your life. Okay, they can't be in your life for the long term because opposites don't attract in that sense. When it comes to people, opposites don't attract. If you want to elevate, you have to let go of the extra weight. Okay, if I were to hold onto this water bottle for the next week, one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to have to drop the water bottle or I'm going to fall with the water bottle. And in the same way, when you surround yourself with people who are negative in nature, either you're going to have to let go of them in order to ascend or you're going to fall down with them. Okay, it's the law of attraction. It's gravity, really. It's gravity, but in the subconscious sense. Now, how do you go about getting rid of these people? And I shouldn't say getting rid of because they are still people, they are still human, but how do you go about letting go of these people? You do that by first distancing yourself. Okay, now this requires a certain level of self-love. You have to love yourself enough to be comfortable being alone because for a lot of us, doing this will require us to be alone for a little bit until we find that new group of people. Hold on, just a little side note. My arm is starting to get a little bit tired right now, but I'm going to hold this up for the entirety of the video. I digress. Once you start to find those new people who are on your wavelength, then you can start to redevelop that social aspect of your life. But in the meantime, you have to become comfortable being alone. And you have to become comfortable enough to distance yourself from toxic and negative people, negative mindsets. Okay, and the reason why I say distance yourself and not cut them off is because people can change. I'm not saying that you should go out of your way to change them if they're not actively seeking your help, but you should give them the space and the opportunity to prove that they're willing to make that change and elevate their lives. For me, for example, when I first started getting into self-development, a lot of my friends didn't really understand some of the things that I was saying to them. especially regarding the law of attraction, which for me, I found to be the single most important principle for success. So when I would talk about the law of attraction, they would talk about it in sarcastic manners. Okay, they would joke about it and things like that, but I could tell they didn't take it seriously. And at the time, it was a very isolating feeling because I felt like I was predicating my entire life, my entire being on this one principle. And by ridiculing it, which obviously they were my friends, so friends, they joke around and things like that. But at the time, with me being so vulnerable and me basically reconstructing my life from the ground up, it felt like they were pulling the rug from under me. And I felt very, very alone during those times. And what I had to learn is that it's better to be alone with yourself than to be around people who make you feel lonely. Now, like I said, these are still my friends. These are people that I still talk to this day. There are some people from that time in my life and from my childhood that I had to cut off. But ultimately, the people who stuck around, those are the people who were able to at least develop an open mind to some of the principles that I've passed forth through my videos, through my content. Okay, some of my friends, they even watch my videos now because they realize that the things that I talk about actually work. Okay, they actually work. The law of attraction, it's real. But in the same way, you have to protect your energy, okay? Because manifestation works based on energy, the energy that you surround yourself with, the people that you surround yourself with. What type of mindsets are you allowing into your personal space on a day-to-day basis? This is a question that you have to ask. This is a part of self-inventory. I talk a lot about shadow work and healing, but a part of shadow work and healing is examining your surroundings. Examining your surroundings and then asking yourself why you spend your time with the people that you spend your time with. Now, I understand that some of you spend time with people based on your association to these people. You share bloodlines with them, your family with them, okay, your family. But like I said at the beginning of this video, just because you share blood doesn't mean you relate. You see, a lot of us, we have these preconceived notions about family, and that comes from societal stigmas. Okay, we believe that family comes first. Family should be the closest to us. And while I do agree with that in most respects of the notion, I also feel like you have to be self-aware enough to understand when maybe a certain group of people who you might have labeled as your family or who are your biological family are no longer a part of your journey. They can no longer be a prevalent part of your journey. They can't be the people that you spend the most time with because they simply don't understand you or your goals. Okay, one thing that I heard Steve Harvey say early on in my self-development journey was, if you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small mind. And a lot of people, they are surrounded by small-minded people, but because they share bloodlines, because they share history, because they share a skin color or a religion or political beliefs, they feel like they owe it to that person to give them space in their lives. Okay, you are giving your life to these people. You're not giving your time to these people, you're giving your life to these people. That's something that I learned from Jeff Logan. Shout out to Jeff Logan. Okay, he talks about how you don't give your time to things, you give your life to things. Imagine if you had a bucket of life and you're giving your life from that bucket to these different people and you're getting nothing in return. That is a bad investment. If I told you right now, hey, cash out me $500 and I'm not going to give you anything in return, just give me $500. You wouldn't do it. You would be crazy to do that. You would be absolutely insane to do that. And yet you're so willing to give your time and your life to other people who aren't giving you anything in return. The difference is that if you gave me that $500, you could get that money back. But once you give that time to somebody, you can't get that back. And that's why it's so urgent that you really heed my advice in this video. Okay, you have to learn how to distance yourself. And like I said, that comes from loving yourself enough to be alone, spending time alone in solitude and enjoying it. I know it sounds like a radical idea for some of you, especially the more extroverted of my supporters, but it's possible. And hold on real quick. I need to take a little intermission. This water bottle is getting pretty heavy. Okay, my bicep is burning, my shoulder is burning, and I don't know how much longer I can hold on to this water bottle. Okay, and if you've been holding the water bottle for the entirety of the video, you probably feel the same as well. Because when you carry something for so long, when you give your life to something for so long and you get nothing in return, you start to feel the effects of it over time. Except instead of physical fatigue, you feel mental, spiritual, and emotional fatigue, which is probably why you're watching this video in the first place, is because you feel like the people around you are no longer serving you on your path, but you're afraid to let go of them because they're the only people that you know. But the truth of the matter is that you may know them, but they clearly don't know you. Because if they knew you, if they understood you and appreciated you, you wouldn't be here watching this video. You wouldn't have this problem. Okay, so understand that part of loving yourself is learning to let go of people who don't appreciate you for who you are. People who want to keep you stuck and confined in the perception that they've created of you. A lot of people, they get uncomfortable when they see you change because, for one, it reminds them that they're afraid to change and grow out of who they are right now into a better version of themselves, but also because in seeing you change, it shifts their perception of themselves because they only see themselves relative to you. They only know who they are in the context of you and your life and the people around them. Okay, so when you have a weak self-perception, you look for yourself relative to other people. And that's why it's very important to not take it personally when people don't want to see you grow, but at the same time, distance yourself. You see, when you harbor resentment towards these people, that's when you effectively lock in at that vibrational frequency. You lock into that energetic level that they're on. And so even if you distance yourself, you're still in that same headspace. You're still giving your life to them, even though they're not actually a part of your life. And it's very important that you learn to let go of their resentment if you want to ascend. Because just like having them in your life and their negativity is holding you back and holding you down, holding onto the resentment is also holding you back and holding you down in that same way.